they took a picture of us. I think that was like the worst part of the whole experience. What do I look like taking a picture right now? Do I look? And then they had the nerve to ask me to smile. No, I'm upset. I don't want to be here. You're gonna ask me to smile? What? Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Charlize Anjelle. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I love you. Mwah. Okay, so today's video is going to be a little different from all the others. I'm going to give you guys a bit of a life update and to explain why I had missed that first Sunday of uploading. So recently, my mother and I have moved into a shelter. And it has definitely been a strange, new, and like a bit of difficult transition in my life, which is also why you haven't been seeing me, recording in my usual spot, in the chair and all that stuff. And I've been trying to find like a good place, like a consistent place for me to record these videos for you guys. So here we are. But yeah, so my mom and I have been in the shelter for like almost a month now. The first night was, I can tell you, it was the worst night of my life. It was very, very uncomfortable. The space that we were in was very cramped. It was small, and I just did not want to be there at all. I definitely did cry because like this is so new and like so strange and scary to me. Like everything like that was going on in my head, it was just like everything bad. They had placed us in like a 1-bedroom room. We have to share bathrooms with everybody else on our floor. We have to sign in and out every single time that we're leaving and entering. We have to sign a nightly sign-in sheet, like just to let them know that we are like in the building or whatever. There's curfew, it's 11 o'clock, but like if you have a job, then that curfew doesn't really apply to you because like there are some people who work overnight. Okay, so first I'm going to tell you like the whole process of like, moving into a shelter and what I experienced, right? So first off, obviously leading up to this, like my mom wasn't like, paying rent. She wasn't able to because she is unemployed. And obviously all of that, like, months of not paying rent was catching up to her, and the landlord was, asking for his space back. So inevitably it did lead us into a shelter. There were like many times where my mom had tried to like, reach out for help with like organizations and stuff, but they weren't really like, much help. So I believe it was like, there was this one week we had to go to PATH. For those of you who don't know what PATH is, it's like, I don't even know what it is myself. I can't even say, hold on, let me search it up. Okay, so yeah, PATH is basically like a shelter system where you go there whenever you're like in the risk of being homeless or you are homeless, and they will supply you with like, temporary housing. They will try to get you housing vouchers so that you can like, move out of the shelter, move into your own place, and they'll like help you with your rent and all that stuff. But yeah, so we had to go to PATH first. So it's like this big building in the Bronx with our suitcases, and then we got like our shelter assignment, and then we had to go there the same night, and the same night we went to PATH is the same night that we had to sleep in the shelter. So it was like everything was moving so fast. My dog wasn't yet approved to be like staying with us, so we had to give her to somebody for the time being, and I miss her so much. Y'all don't understand, bro. I miss her so much. Anyway, so we get to the shelter, and now like we have to put all of our things through the like the scanners just to make sure that we don't have like any contraband on us or like anything dangerous with us. It's like, is this prison or is this a shelter? Like I don't know, man. So they scanned all of our stuff. Apparently there was some stuff that we had that we couldn't bring in with us. Like we're not allowed to have hangers because of the metal part of the hook, and like glass bottles and stuff like that. There's like so much stuff that you're not allowed to have. We got in, we had to sign like a copious amount of paperwork, and then they took a picture of us. I think that was like the worst part of the whole experience. What do I look like taking a picture right now? Do I look? And then they had the nerve to ask me to smile. No, I'm upset. I don't want to be here. You're gonna ask me to smile? What? Bro, I was oh my goodness. Okay, right? So took the picture, we had all of our stuff, and we were, at the time we were living on the second floor. They showed us our room. They opened the room. First of all, I'm seeing one bed, and it's like a matchbox. That's the size of the room. Like, it's so small. You have one little dresser, you have a bed right here, and then you have like a hook where you can hang stuff. But ironically, we're not allowed to have hangers. What's that there for in the first place? We got in, we started like, you know, putting our stuff away and like, you know, making it seem like home or comfortable enough, right? And we just like, you know, laid our head for the night and sharing the same bed, just like staying there. And like me and my mom, we don't have like the best of the relationship, so like me even like being that close to her was kind of uncomfortable for me. Like, I know this sounds like kind of weird, but it's the truth. So once sleep for the night, I would promise you, I hardly slept for maybe even like 3 hours. That's probably the most amount of sleep that I got that night, because it was just so uncomfortable. My body was like so defensive, like it couldn't just relax and go to sleep. And it was like same thing for my mother. Like, she was there crying. It was just like the worst night, right? And then the day after, we had to have like an intake meeting with like a case manager or somebody. And when I tell you, bro, that lady, she was like pissing me off. But like later on in the conversation, I wasn't too mad at her. But like the way she was talking to me, she was talking to me like I was like some child. Like, you know how Miss Rachel would be talking to the children on the screen and stuff like that? That's how she was talking to me. And I just wanted to like, and she was making assumptions about how I was feeling, and I'm like, just stop. What are you doing? Get out of my face. Like, just her voice was high pitched. She was like, I know, I understand. Like, don't do me, right? So we're in this intake meeting the next day, and now like she spoke to me first, like asking me about like, I guess, my well-being and what I do on a day, because like I have internships, so I'm like outside of the shelter like for most of my time out of the week, right? And then she goes on to my mom, and now while she's talking to my mom, she starts talking about like, you know, God and like a certain Bible verse in John. And that's when I knew like everything was gonna be all right for me, because this may sound corny, don't do too much, but that's when I knew like everything was gonna be fine like in the shelter. Because the night before we had that intake meeting, I was in my Bible and I had started reading John, and I was just on the first chapter. I didn't really understand everything that I was reading, because like at that time I guess my relationship wasn't strong enough with God for me to understand everything that I was reading from the Bible. So when I was reading it, I was just like reading it just to read it. But the fact that she was stating the exact same thing that I was reading the next day told me everything that I needed to know. And I think it was that verse, and it was like, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, the Word was God, right? So I just like found that very, very calming and very reassuring that like everything was going to be okay. And like I guess at that moment is when I like loosened up a little bit, and I wasn't too defensive to everything that was going on around me. And that's when I really like started to try to find a way to make everything feel all right, even if my body didn't want to relax. But yeah, now I'm gonna tell you like a bit of the rules that they have in that dang shelter. So like I said earlier, you're not allowed to have certain objects. So you're not allowed to have glass bottles, you're not allowed to have any hangers, you're not allowed to have hot food, right? There's a cafeteria separate from the building where all the residents live, and that's the only place where you're allowed to have hot food, but you're allowed to like bring in fruits, snacks, and salads into like the resident hall, right? What else are we not allowed to have? We're not allowed to have any razors. So if you want to shave, like especially since it's summertime and you know hygiene is a thing and it's something that we should all be maintaining, you can't really shave in the place. And don't even talk about the showers. Since I've been there, I have not stepped foot in not one of them showers. Pause. Hold on. That does not mean I'm not taking any showers. I can promise you I am. As soon as I got there, first thing I did, I got me a gym membership, okay? I was not, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm too uptight or whatever, but I just couldn't for the life of me. I can't do it. I was not stepping foot in one of them showers. I got the membership mainly for me and my mother, but I told her and she was like, no, it's okay, you go ahead, you could do what you need to do, but she's gonna stay in the shower. And like, she's gonna stay in the shelter to shower. And I was like, okay, cool. So now my schedule consists of, you know, going to my internship, which is work, working out, planning content for you guys, and then, you know, just spending time with God as well. So like in the morning I'll be waking up extra early, you know, early bird get the worm or whatever, go to the gym, then I go to class, and then sometimes like every Thursday I would have therapy, so then I would go to therapy, and then I would come in this little park and just do some like Bible study. I feel like it's definitely helped me a lot. And although living in a shelter is like not the best of things, the environment and like the community around the shelter is like something that I've definitely been absorbing like the most. Like it's really nice, a very nice area to live in, and it makes living in the shelter like 20 times not as bad as it was the first night I got there. That's pretty much everything that's like been going on with me. Other than that, like I said, finding like these outlets, going to the gym, spending time like in nature outside, like away from people, and just like relaxing and spending time with God has definitely been what's kept me grounded throughout this whole situation. And I feel like I have definitely been bearing the fruits of keeping my faith and just staying consistent with God, because like I just feel like this sense of community around me that I've never felt in my life, and I'm just like so grateful. And honestly, I'm just like very happy as to where I am like in life right now, besides living in a shelter, of course. I feel like for anybody who's like out there and they're going through a hard time, doesn't necessarily mean that you're living in a shelter, but you may like feel like it's the end of the world. I promise you that it's not. God does not throw anything at you that you are not strong enough to get through, okay? And even if you think you're not strong enough to get through it, that's why you have God. He's there for you to lean on. He wants you to lean on him. He's doing all of this stuff just to show you that you need him. You cannot get through this world without him. All right? But that is pretty much it. I just really want to like thank everybody, well, the few little people that like constantly watch my videos every week, and to like all the people who actually like, you know, talk to me about my videos. Like, I love you guys. You guys are like so cool. But that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for getting to the end, and I will see you guys next week. I love you. Mwah.